I had a single guy that helped me
Okay.
a lot. I love him to death. He's not in the industry. He's in the lifestyle.
Mm-hmm.
So he was what we call my bull.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. So he would regularly come over and take care of me.
It's nice.
Yeah. But then he would help me with films. Like he would film some of my solos, or he would help me with a custom video that I needed to do. Or if we would travel, because he would come with us sometimes before we lived here, we would come out here quite a bit and visit. And so we would just set up the camera and make a little video that way. And I would put it on my sites. I need to find one out here. I don't have one.
I have a feeling you will be able to find somebody to be your Vegas bull.
I've had some offers, but I haven't done any interviewing yet.
So do like a job interview. You have them sit behind a desk. Be like, what are your qualifications? Do you have references?
Let me see your resume and your cover letter.
Yeah, exactly.
Yes. Yeah.
So have you been to some of the lifestyle clubs out here?
We are actually going to, for the first time, Saturday.
Okay.
To Flirts.
Oh, I actually haven't heard of that one.
I think it's new. I think it just started. The parties just started up in October, like 2 weekends ago, I think. So I think this is the third weekend. We used to, when we came out here to visit, we would do Playhouse.
Okay.
We've been to Red Rooster.
Yeah, that's in Henderson.
And
have you been to? I think it's 5150 is another one.
Nope.
I think that's what it's called.
But and I went to the Green Door, but I did content there before it was open. But I got a great tour, and it's amazing. And so my husband and I are going to go back when it's open.
Yeah.
I get all the emails. I've signed up for everything. We're on a site, so I get a lot of emails through them too about it. But we're going to do our first one. This coming Saturday.
I was going to say, I'm curious how the lifestyle scene in Miami differs or compares to here. If it's bigger out there, if it's just different, if, obviously you haven't been here that long, so maybe you haven't.
I don't have an opinion on it yet.
Okay.
Because we've only had like 2 good experiences and a couple of not so good experiences, and we've actually never done anything out here.
Okay.
So
Yeah. So you had the years in Miami to build up that, as well as going to Jamaica and everything. So it sounds like Jamaica's your favorite place to go.
It is my favorite. I would live there if I could.
Yeah. Might be a little hard.
I don't have any clothes.
Yeah.
But you do have to wear something to eat.
Sometimes, yeah, that sounds.
Scuba dive every day. Get a nice tan everywhere.
Sounds like a nice place for retirement.
Drink some stuff, maybe something else. There's a lot to do on that island.
Yeah. Nice endorsement.
Yes.
So
you're welcome.
Well, I remember seeing that years ago on that HBO show, Real Sex. I don't know if you remember it. It was a
yeah, I remember.
It was a show that would have different segments about, sex in some way. And I remember there was one that talked about going to Negril, Jamaica and the hedonism resorts. I think 2 and 3 were still there. 3 was still there at the time. And I remember seeing that, thinking to myself, that place looks interesting. And it reminded me of that movie, Exit to Eden, which was I don't know if you remember it. It was a 90s movie with Dan Aykroyd and Rosie O'Donnell about a sex resort.
Okay.
And it came out it actually came out 30 years ago, based on a book by Anne Rice.
Okay.
Who did the Vampire Chronicles.
Right.
But it was one of her non-vampire books that showed a different side to her.
And it got a movie.
Unfortunately, it was not a very good movie to a lot of people.
I think I remember it. Yeah.
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 So, I mean, when your leads are Dan Aykroyd and Rosie O'Donnell, might not be the best, but for that type of story.
Right.
Because they played undercover police officers going to this resort.
Was it a comedy?
It was supposed to be a comedy.
Okay, then yeah.
So, but I'm like, yeah, you could have made a little better of a casting choice for that.
There is a movie that they made at Hedo.
Oh, they did?
Yeah. I believe it's called Swingers.
Like, was it a documentary or was it a...
No, it's a movie. It's about a couple who's flying to their wedding, and they have to make an emergency landing, or they can't get there, so they land in Jamaica, and they run into this guy who's like, "I know where you can stay," and he takes them to Hito, and they don't realize that it's a swingers resort until halfway through. It is hilarious.
Okay,
it's not a good movie. But I liked it. And the reason why is because I recognize people.
You could.
I'm like, I know that person. I know that person. I know that person. And it was funny, especially if you've been there and you know what it's like and you know what the staff does and the reactions that some of the older women in the movie did was spot on, So it's a good movie. I think a lot of people don't like it and it didn't go, but
yeah. So, I was going to say, because I'm wondering because there's the 90s movie Swingers with Jon Favreau and Vince Vaughn. Right. That's the Doug Liman movie. I don't know so that might...
I don't think that's the name, but it might
has
be the
something
name.
Swinger is probably in the title somewhere. Okay.
Yeah.
So maybe somebody in the comments could be able to look up the movie and put that down there.
And I don't even remember who was in it.
Hallmark of a good movie is when it's that. but it's cool that you were able to see it and identify with it. And I guess they did a job that didn't seem, I guess, very off the mark. Because a lot of times when people make movies about, especially about, say, sexual stuff, like that was the biggest, I think, gripe that people had with 50 Shades of Grey was that the book didn't accurately portray that kind of dynamic. It was more sensationalized and put in a context that was, I get maybe more romanticized than it actually was.
Yeah.
As if the person who wrote it was more fantasizing about that kind of a relationship without actually having been in one.
I can see that. Yeah. Yeah.
Where I've never seen it or read it. So I've
only read the book. So I haven't seen the movie. Or I've only read the first one. I haven't even read any of the other ones.
Didn't feel the need to continue.
No. I can.
Well, you're living the life that's more exciting probably than the book.
I can do it myself. I don't need help with the book. And if I want to be tied up, I just have to ask.
Yeah.